Okay, thank you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone tuning in from all around the globe. I wanted to greet everyone in my mother tongue, so namaskar. This is my presentation. My topic for the day is neurosurgical procedures possible to carry out in zero gravity or microgravity to make Mars colonization sustainable. Uh, on the left side, you are seeing a photo of the red habitable planet, Mars. We are going to colonize it in the very near future. So we have to make with the goal of making colonization sustainable. We all we know is the year of travel. The plan of travel is we will first go from Earth to Moon, then from Moon to Mars. Moon to Mars is like 9 months of deep space travel. Space is relentless. Space is hard. Space is unforgiving. So we should be prepared for all possible difficulties, all possible situations, and we should be like we should take care of them there and then only. We should, in order to make it sustainable. We cannot return back home because we are going to another place called home. So this is my next slide. Manned space flights are increasing, the purpose being to colonize celestial bodies like Moon and habitable planets like Mars. Traumatic brain injury is one of NASA's biggest concern in space travel. As we all know, Mars has a lesser gravity compared to Earth's gravity. Microgravity makes normal things difficult to do, let alone neurosurgical procedures. Neurosurgical procedures are performed by trained personals after getting a training of like 7 years, a minimum of 7 years on normal gravity. This presentation is a discussion of the possible problems we are going to face in microgravity or zero gravity if we perform neurosurgical procedures and the possible neurosurgical procedures that would be feasible to carry out in zero gravity, microgravity environment of the Mars colony. We are also trying to make it sustainable. That is the main that is the main cause we are here, main motto. Problems and solutions that we are going to face. The problems that we will face during performing a neurosurgical procedure or handling a neurosurgical emergency in microgravity or zero gravity are impaired visualization, difficulty in restraining both patient and crew members, and floating debris like blood, irrigation fluid, and bone materials that are the byproducts of a surgery. These problems, these I would like to call them as challenges, not problems, because they have solutions. Restraining the patient by straps to the table in the operation theater, which needs to be magnetically fixed to the floor of the operation room. So it can be so the problem that is like uh, the problem that we that can be easily solved like they should not be floating around. They should be restrained perfect for perfect operations. Restraining surgical clothes can be done magnetically to the floor of the operation will solve the problem. Floating debris in the form of blood, irrigation fluid, pus, and bone pieces can be reduced by covering the part to be operated by glove box. Glove box, as we all know, is a windowed, sealed container equipped with two flexible gloves that allow the user to manipulate nuclear material from outside in a safe environment. This can be used to contain the part to be operated. This glove box containing the floating debris that could be sucked out using a suction to clear the surgical field. We should also minimize the debris by performing as there is a term called minimally invasive surgeries like Barhol craniotomy, stereotaxic removal of bleed and tumors, and other pathologies in them. Minimally invasive spine surgeries can also be performed. Other forms of intervention like coiling and aneurysm also come under minimally invasive surgeries. The thing is that robotic neurosurgery could be performed to have great control over the instruments used. Results. We have found out that performing neurosurgery in zero gravity or microgravity environment of Mars could be possible if we sought to minimally invasive procedures, robotic technologies, use glove box, and proper restraining facilities. Mars neurosurgical emergencies could be possibly managed by minimally invasive surgeries like Borehole craniotomy, stereotaxic removal of bleed, tumors, and other pathologies in brain. Minimally invasive spine surgeries can also be performed. Other forms of minimally invasive surgeries or interventions like coiling for aneurysms. This would help us in making Mars colonization sustainable. These are my references. And This was the slide, and to elaborate discussion on that, a surgeon needs to have a clear field while operating. He wants to have all the control in the world to perform or to handle a neurosurgical emergencies. The main thing that we are going to face the problem is that first of all is restraining both patient and crew members. Patient and crew members should be like fixed to the table, and the table should be magnetically fixed to the floor of the operation theater, which makes it more easy to perform a neurosurgical procedure, because neurosurgical procedures are always difficult to perform in Earth's gravity only. So restraining and floating debris. Floating debris are the byproduct of any surgery. So, and because of zero gravity, this may float anywhere. That is the problem. The floating debris is the problem. Floating debris can be contained in a glove box, and this can be removed safely with the help of suction. And robotic neurosurgery, that is the main agenda of using robotic neurosurgery, is to have great control of the instruments. This is having great control of the instruments helps the surgeon to perform or handle neurosurgical emergencies easily. We need to remember Mars is like 9 months of deep space travel from Moon only. We cannot afford to return back. If any, we cannot. First of all, we cannot afford to lose any astronaut's life, and second of all, we cannot afford to return back to Earth. So we have to manage the situation there and then only. That is the main agenda of discussing these problems and solution. And this COVID pandemic has told us that we should focus more on medical for colonization. We should focus more on medical related problems. So this could help us making Mars colonization sustainable. So these are the results which we have found out, that we can also go from like operating in Mars and making Mars colony sustainable. And this is the conclusion. And this conclusion has showed us that Mars colonization can be sustainable if we handle neurosurgical emergencies and other medical emergencies also, which my co-panel discussers are also discussing. Thank you. These are my references. Any questions, please?
If you guys have any questions, go ahead and type them in chat, and we'll go ahead and read them out. While we're doing that, have there actually been any tests of surgery in on the space station for some of these points that you brought up?
No, not at space station. They have there is a zero gravity simulator in they do it in an aeroplane, and UCLA is doing it. University of California, Los Angeles is doing it. I guess they have performed not neurosurgeries, but simple surgeries like gallbladder removal, endoscopic surgeries. They have performed simple surgeries in zero gravity. They have performed on dummies mostly.
Gotcha. Do they have a list of? I know for orbit, you can just bring them back down to Earth. Is there you mentioned the protocol. Is that actually being discussed, and are there people being trained for doing surgeries like this in the worst case scenario?
No, not now. People are not. They are trained to perform neurosurgery on Earth's gravity in 1G, not for 0G or microgravity. They are currently being. There is a small team in UCLA that is performing these experiments with the help of NASA.
Gotcha. So they're basically creating the protocols for doing this type of surgery in an emergency.
Yeah. To handle all type of emergencies. There is a cardiovascular surgeon who is the lead of the program, leading this program.
Gotcha. Are there any plans to do any tests in actual 0G, or are they just being done in the simulator?
They are doing it. For the timing, they are doing it in the simulator. They might shift it to international space station. Then in the Artemis mission, they are taking in new. So I have put in a PI also. There is also a project which I will be discussing with NASA and I am the PI of that project. This one only.
Gotcha. We have any questions for anybody in chat? Are there any other items you'd like to bring up on the topic while we've got some extra time here?
Yes, I would like to also bring up that this the main thing is that NASA is also discussing about using of robotic arms. Robotic arms now can also be used in robotic neurosurgery that could have great control of the instruments. But I discussed that with the chief scientist there, but they are telling it as this is currently out of scope of their year. So, but we can also get it together as the time progresses.
Is there any kind of a solution for dealing with the surgery if there is nobody on board for using a robotic arm with the light delay for travel to the outer solar system or to Mars?
We can control the robotic arm remotely, but I don't think it is a great thing for someone on Earth to control it on the robotic arm and do a neurosurgery, because there may be a time gap between a command and a performance. So I would rather prefer to someone should be there only to perform, not remotely, so that the time gap is not, because in surgeries there can be any type of damage and any type of emergencies which should be handled there and then only, and need immediate solutions. So we should not remotely controlling. We can remotely control if that is not so important surgeries, but main priority should be trained astronauts should be there, which can remotely control, the robotic arm to perform this surgery.
I see.
There's a question.
Yeah, what can we do with medical waste? Can they be sterilized after the medical procedure, or should they just be disposed of?
We should sterilize it and then dispose of better, because we cannot afford to. We are already polluting the habitable planet Earth. We cannot afford to pollute another space or another planet like Mars. So we should sterilize it, then dispose of, maybe, or we can reuse it by recyclable methods. Medical waste usually are not reusable, except for some parts which are reusable. But we should first sterilize it, then dispose, because that protocol makes less likely the infection to spread.
On a planet like Mars, where there's not any kind of setup for disposing of medical waste, would that just be a long-term storage until we have return trips, or is there something we could do to reuse that medical waste once it's been sterilized?
We can sterilize it and reuse it, but that sterilization should be like 100% sterilization, like autoclaving or something like, which is known to be like 100%. Thing is that in India right now, in surgeries also, we are also performing sterilization then reusing it. So it's okay, we can sterilize it and reuse it. We don't need to have medical waste as such. And if we have medical waste, we should keep it in a year. Then we should not pollute the Mars environment. That is my motto right now. So we should keep it and transport it back to Earth, or where they can be safely disposed, or we can plan for disposal in Mars environment only.
Gotcha. Any other questions? Anything else you want to bring up with a few extra minutes we have?
Yes, surely. My thing is that we should also send someone who to the Mars that is trained in this person, a trained personnel that knows everything about surgeries, all surgeries. So the thing is that we ha- we have to have someone that knows these things, because that is what is important. He can save a life there also if anything happens. And we should know space is relentless, and space is always hard and unforgiving. So we should be prepared at any cost. That is what I'm trying to convey through this presentation of mine.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because we cannot afford to return back in the middle of the journey, in the middle of space travel.
Okay. Well, if you don't have anything else, oh, here we got another question right here. I think you said you can go ahead and read that, right? Or do you want me to go ahead and read it for you?
Are there this one? Are there options for sterilization besides autoclave? These machines used is a lot of water on Mars, and or travel is a clean critical resource. Yeah, there are various options of other things that autoclave. We can usually burn it. Sterilization. We can use ethylene alcohol and glycol for other myths. These are chemical sterilization. This is a heat sterilization method. Autoclave is a heat sterilization. There is a classification of sterilization. Chemicals. We have chemical sterilization. We have mechanical sterilization, and this is heat sterilization. We can also perform mechanical sterilization and heat sterilization and chemical sterilization. Sorry. Heat sterilization, this method cannot be used as the reason said is okay, but we can also perform chemical sterilizations like using ethylene alcohol, any type of alcohol or glycol, anything can do. But autoclave is a 100% method of sterilization. It has a higher efficiency. So but we should as the reasons stated is quite good enough, so we can also shift to chemical methods of sterilization.
So the chemical sterilization is not 100%?
No, it's not 100%. It's like a 90% or 95%, but it's okay. It will do. I also wanted to point out something other than this thing. We should also not only neurosurgery. We should also take into medical consideration, like any type of emergencies, in any type of casualties. We should able to be handled there and then only. Because the thing is that we cannot afford to lose anyone in the travel, and we cannot afford also to return back. That is the main motto. We should be prepared for everything, any possible scenarios. But and healthcare is one of the most demanding thing while going. And 9 months of space travel can also have psychological impressions on astronauts. We should also be prepared for that also. Not only neurosurgeries, other surgeries, other casualties. We should also be prepared for that also, because we cannot afford. First of all, we cannot afford to lose anyone, because that will be a great shame. And second of all, we cannot afford to return also. That is we cannot afford to return, because we are going from one home to another home. We are making Mars our next home. So it's better to get to be prepared as far as we can think of.
Right. That makes sense. Anything else?
Yes, I'd seen a YouTube video from NASA astronaut. He said he was blind while performing a spacewalk. He was blind in one eye, but he was able to carry out it because he was prepared. So that is the main motto. We should be prepared for any possible thing, and we are going not with a motto of returning, with a motto of staying there only. So we should also think of other possibilities of other medical possibilities and other health problems uh, which can be which can be found out in mass environment, and we should deal with them also. That is better, because we need to make mass colony sustainable, not a hit and trail method. We should be going with proper theories, proper uh, training, and proper abilities to make to handle all the emergencies there, and health emergencies, mostly health emergencies. As we have seen the Martian movie, there was a pin stuck in his chest, but he could manage it because he was well trained. So we should, all the astronauts should be well trained in handling their own health, and there should be a single person who is well trained in any possible scenarios to carry out any hardest of surgeries in that environment only.
Yeah, it shows the importance of first aid.
Yes, first aid is like any normal person can do it, but after first aid there comes a definitive treatment, which we need to have trained personals.
All right, thank you for your time. Is there any final questions or thoughts to go along with the talk? All right, thank you. It was very informative on a critical thing that in the worst case scenario needs to be handled with proper training and preparation.
Yes, that is my motto right now. This is chat, I guess.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you for your time.